With this, we're now past the halfway mark of the series that I'm doing right now, taking a look at the previews for the first round of the OHL playoffs. I do have a playlist on the channel, 2025 OHL playoffs. You can see all the preview videos there on that list, and I'll continue to update that playlist as we go through the 2025 OHL playoffs. And with this preview, we're going to take a look at the matchup between the first seed Brantford Bulldogs and the eighth seed North Bay Battalion. Brantford had a winning record against North Bay, 3-0-1, although that might be a little deceiving because all four games were decided by a single goal. North Bay, they were able to make these games close, and the one meeting on October 18th needed overtime, and that's where the North Bay Battalion were able to squeak out a victory in that one. So this series could be a little more interesting than what maybe some people are expecting based on the stats coming up. Over the last 10 games, the Brantford Bulldogs, 8-2 is their record. They've been on a roll in the second half of the OHL season. Had them number one a couple of times in the last couple of weeks on my OHL power rankings that I do. And for Brantford, also winning two straight coming into the postseason. But not to be outdone, North Bay 5-4-1 over their last 10. And they're on a 3-game winning streak as they were fighting for their playoff lives. It came down to the last day where Brantford defeated Ottawa, and that helped North Bay clinch that playoff spot. So Brantford kind of decided who they wanted to face in the first round of the playoffs with that victory. And looking at the stats, the Bulldogs, their power play, number one, 28.2%. Their power play unit, it is lethal. For North Bay, the power play, it struggled at times, 15th overall at 18.1%. Of course, that's during the regular season. On the penalty kill, Brantford ranked fourth overall at 82.9%. But North Bay, they've got a pretty decent penalty kill unit as well, 81.7%, which is the sixth best in the Ontario Hockey League. Now, when you look at the goals for, 281 goals for the Brantford Bulldogs, and of course, 71 of those goals coming from Nick Lardis alone. He was amazing offensively, and of course, North Bay is going to want to keep a close watch on him once the playoffs get underway. But for the battalion, 194 goals for. That's the lowest out of the 16 playoff teams. They didn't even reach the 200 goal mark. So this team, they need to win defensively. And with that, though, they still gave up 252 goals during the regular season, while Brantford only gave up 221. So yes, there's a lot of the numbers here leaning towards Brantford, but I feel as though this battalion team, they could still make things interesting. Penalty minutes wise, Brantford only took 737 penalty minutes. That was the second fewest penalties in the Ontario Hockey League during the regular season. So I know North Bay, we talked about it, their power play unit doesn't have the greatest numbers, but they might not go on the power play that often. So they're going to want to make good whenever they do get a chance in the series, whereas North Bay, 835 penalty minutes during the regular season. Looking at the top five scorers for the Brantford Bulldogs, Nick Lardis leads the way with 71 goals, 46 assists, 117 points. Second in team scoring, Patrick Thomas, 27 goals, 77 assists, 104 points. Jake O'Brien was third in scoring this season with 32 goals, 66 assists, and 98 points. So close to breaking that 100-point mark. And then you've got Cole Brown, 33 goals, 37 assists, 70 points. And rounding out the top five is Thomas Hamara, 8 goals, 47 assists, 55 points. Remember, he was a late addition returning to the Brantford Bulldogs after starting off his professional career at the start of the regular season. As for the battalion, for their top five scorers, their captain, Ethan Procession, leads the way. 34 goals, 30 assists, 64 points. Jacob LeBlanc, second in team scoring, 10 goals, 42 assists, 52 points. Shamar Moses, who they acquired from the Barrie Colts in the Dallin Wakely trade, he's third in team scoring with 12 goals, 36 assists, 48 points. Jacob Tarian, fourth with 17 goals, 21 assists, 38 points. And Liram Amidovsky, 19 goals, 13 assists, 32 points, rounds out the top five in team scoring for North Bay in the regular season. Looking at goaltenders, Ryerson Leanders, he's come as advertised. Remember, they acquired him from Brampton at the start of the regular season. A 31-14-3 record, 3.11 goals against average, and a 910 save percentage. Ryerson Leanders, the real deal. And this is one of the strong suits as well for Brantford. That's why this team, I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a deep run here in the Eastern Conference. And then you've got David Igorov backing him up. And his numbers are respectable as well. 13-5-2, 2.97 goals against average, and a 906 save percentage. So you can't really go wrong with either Leanders or Igorov in the goal for the Brantford Bulldogs. On the North Bay side, Mike McIver leads the way. 22, 17, and 3 is his record. 2.86 goals against average and a 910 save percentage. And I feel as though because McIver plays on the North Bay Battalion, he's a little underrated. He had a great playoff run last year for the Battalion, who went to the Eastern Conference Final. And this year, you got to give him credit for getting this team into the postseason. When they did all those trades, trading away Wakely and Romani and Van Steensel, a lot of people figured North Bay would be the team on the outside looking in come playoff time, but they have battled. And McIver has been stellar night in and night out. And if they're going to steal some games here against the Brantford Bulldogs, it may come down to Mike McIver in net. And backing up is rookie goaltender Jack Listen. 3-7-1 was his record during the regular season, 4.29 goals against, and an 875 save percentage. So McIver will get the bulk of the starts, but maybe they'll give some time to Listen as well. Maybe give him that experience, depending on how this series shapes up between these two teams. Now, the last time these organizations met in the postseason, you have to go back to 2022, and it was the Eastern Conference Final between the Hamilton Bulldogs and the North Bay Battalion. And that year, it was the Bulldogs who swept the Eastern Conference Final. So it's been a little bit since these two organizations have gone head to head. But I think this should be a fun series, depending on how the Battalion fare here, because they've been playing playoff-like hockey. And we'll see if that can translate here into the first round of the playoffs against a very tough Brantford Bulldogs hockey team. So the series starts Friday in Brantford. Game 2 will be Sunday in Brantford, and then the series will shift north to the North Bay. Game 3 will be Tuesday, April 1st, and then Game 4, Thursday, April 3rd. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this series. Who do you think takes it, and in how many games? Thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Talk to you again soon.